Hello, welcome back to Addicted to Recovery, the podcast bringing you the truth about addiction. My name's Christopher White. I'm joined as ever by my dear friend, co-host and fellow recovering addict, Max Thomas. How are we, mate?
I'm really good, Chrissy. How are you, mate?
Really well. There's a little bit of a change in the studio today.
There is.
What's happening, mate?
We have tried to configure
Yeah.
us being videoed. We've sort of winged it, but I think we're going to try and get these podcasts moving forward going on YouTube. So the viewer and the listener can just interact with us a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's a bit more personal, isn't it, when we're videoing?
We got to get it on camera.
Yeah.
We're giving it a go today.
Yeah.
We're going to try and get these out on YouTube. We have got a YouTube channel. It is Addicted to Recovery.
Addicted to Recovery podcast.
Addicted to Recovery podcast
like the Instagram,
on YouTube.
It's all the same. Yeah,
Brilliant. So go subscribe to the channel because we're going to have plenty of content coming your way soon.
Yeah.
Brilliant, mate.
What you done today?
Oh, mate.
Well, I know what you've done, but come on, tell people what you've done.
I played golf at just such a good golf course today.
Yeah, glorious weather.
Yeah, look, if anyone's into golf, I played at Wentworth today, which is like, it's on the DP World Tour. It's like the flagship event.
Top 20 golf course in the world.
Top 20 golf course in the world. Yeah. A mate of mine's a member, got invited over today. So I took a day off work and went and played golf with my mates, and it was brilliant.
We're going to come on to we're going to do a bit of mental health awareness, because it was Mental Health Awareness Week last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And one of the big things there is a bit of self-care. So that's
we'll get onto that. And it's sort of, it all aligns. And like the listeners know it comes into a big part of my recovery. You know what I mean? It's just like, I took up golf when I got clean, and I've mentioned it before, but it's so good for my head.
Yeah.
And I know it's good for other people. I actually saw a thing on Golf Digest, which is like, I think it used to be a magazine, but now it's like they've got a big Instagram account.
Okay.
And it was like 5 reasons why golf is good for your mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, what's the word? Decreases anxiety, gets you out into nature, exercise. It's like reduces depression. There's loads of benefits.
Yeah. Well, Chrissy, I love anything that stops my head thinking about a million thoughts a minute, you know what I mean? Which it does on a regular.
Yeah.
And golf, for some reason, it doesn't have to be golf. Any sport does it. I play tennis a lot with my wife, and she plays tennis a lot. I play tennis occasionally with her, and even that, when you're in something, whatever it is, do you know what I mean? You were
that's it,
man of many talents, as we said before on the podcast. But I think as addicts, once we're focused on something, everything else quietens down.
Of course it does.
That's why we use drugs.
And you know what? Tennis is a great one for that. Have you ever played paddle?
No, but that plays that.
It's like
pickleball you got now?
Pickleball apparently is brilliant, right? So I heard a fact. An hour and a half of pickleball burns 1,000 calories.
Yeah, mad.
Do you know how hard that is to burn on a treadmill?
Yeah, it's going some.
For zero enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, find something that you can do that's fun, engaging, and it's so intense. It's like, the ball's coming, all you're thinking is, hit it back.
Yeah, they say carrying the golf clubs around the course is very good for you as well.
Yeah. Well, look, it's about 1,000 calories around the golf, but that takes a bit longer, 4 hours. Yeah. But it's like a 5-mile walk with something strapped on your back. It's good exercise.
Yeah, but it's I've played since I was young, and it's it's a great way to meet people like this, and you've got 4 hours to chat to your mates. You know what I mean?
That was another one of the benefits.
Yeah, you might open up about stuff that you wouldn't necessarily normally open out, especially if you're in the woods a lot, like you are, looking for your balls. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I'm never in the woods. I'm always on the fairway.
No, but it's I play golf with my brother a lot, and we have chats, and it's really bonded our relationship.
Yeah,
definitely.
Same with me and my little brother.
Yeah, my new business 100%. Partner is on it as well, and
I met him tonight. Lovely guy.
Yeah, lots of ideas are formed and relationships forged in any sport, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
definitely. And look, think about it. Football teams back in the day, the camaraderie, when you pull together as a team.
Team spirit, right?
Team spirit. It's like, I think back, like I'm best mates still with the people I used to play football with when I was 10, 11, 12. Yeah. It's like you form them bonds, you protect each other, you look after each other, you're there for each other. And
nothing like it, is it?
There really isn't. That's why I always felt, not felt sorry for, but just felt like people that weren't involved in team sport when they were younger were just missing out on such a big, important chunk of growing up. That's why I don't push my boys into anything, but I try and expose them to that. You know what I mean? When they score their little goals on a Wednesday night, like I take them over football on a Wednesday night, and they all like put their arms around each other. I'm like, it's really important.
So important. My brother-in-law, he played for a local team since he was 6, and they're some of his closest mates
there you go.
till today. Do you know what I mean? It's fantastic. My little boy, he plays tennis a lot. He does a lot of cross country, a lot of individual sports.
Yeah.
And this year he's got into his footy because I know how important team sport is. And
Yeah.
I suppose linking it back to recovery, like the guys in my meetings and our fellowship, it's a little team looking out for each other, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Fighting a common, it's
of course it is.
Very similar sort of thing.
Camaraderie, team spirit, all like people working towards a common goal.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really important, mate.
How's your head?
My head?
Overthinking or?
No.
Nah.
You know what?
You seem good.
I haven't got time to think. I'm so busy. So busy. I was just working it out. I'm going to be working all weekend. I'm working over bank holiday. I'm probably going to be working next weekend.
Yeah.
I had a little lull at the start of the year and it's really picked up. So it's like make hay while the sun shines, right?
But a good thing I noticed when you had that lull, look, you reached out to me and you reached out to a few other people and you didn't sit on it and feel sorry for yourself. You just, what did you do?
I got up and got busy.
Action, flyers out, all that
Put
sort
action
of
in, like the digital version of getting flyers out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one hands flyers out anymore, Max. You know what I mean? Showing your age a little bit there, mate. I had some business cards printed. I got a few of them around, but yeah, most of it was just like a bit of online stuff, getting busy, getting out and about.
Bit of action, right?
Action.
Yep.
Action. So like being on site in them situations. So I'll go and work for someone for less money than I would normally get paid.
Yeah.
So then I'm around it. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. And they're like, oh, yeah. And you get work from it.
But you subconsciously, if you think about it, Chris, you used the program there. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You ask for help and you put in the action.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the benefits, right?
Yeah.
That is it.
I had the tools.
Yeah.
I applied them. And now it's almost worked too well. I'm too busy. But I've got some making up to do. So, and look.
Your game, you've got to have it while it's busy, right?
Exactly. And look, it's a physical hard job. It's like I get paid by the meter. So if I lay a meter squared of tile, I get paid a certain amount of money. So it's not like I can just wing it.
No.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's only so much I can do in a day. I'm good at it. I'm efficient at what I do because I'm clean and I'm organised.
That's it.
And my head's tidy and I go to bed at the right time and I wake up early. Try doing that job that I used to do when I was in the madness. It was just a shit show.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot I needed that. And I'd be double booked on one job, on two jobs on one day.
Yeah, and you're doing tiling, so that surely that's got to be quite precise. I wouldn't fancy doing a tiling job on a come down. Just get used to it.
Yeah, look, I was never really on a come down, Max.
Right.
Because I used every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. Because I knew I couldn't perform
that's
if I was on a come
my
down.
binge using compared to your daily using, I suppose. Like, I used to just fall to bits for a fucking week after.
Yeah, I was just sort of like bouncing along at about 60% constantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh,
has your work improved since?
100%, mate. Yeah. Look, it can't hurt to just not be on cocaine.
Sorry to Chris's clients prior to him.
No, mate, look, this is the thing, right? I was always good.
Right. Okay.
I was always good at it.
Yeah.
The thing that used to fall by the wayside was, like I just said, the organisation, the showing up on time, the honesty. You know what I mean? Because I would make up any lie to try. It's just...
Have you got over the oil spillage yet?
Yeah. I'm over that now because I saw you got a nice rug. You know what I mean? I can't believe you brought this up.
Are we going to talk about it? I think we should.
All right, let me tell the story. So I'm round Max's a few weeks ago, tiling the splashback. Nice job.
Lovely job. Yeah.
Come out good, didn't it?
Yes.
So I've stood back to take a photo of my work, admiring what I've done, and I knocked over a bottle of olive oil. And
when me and my wife weren't in the house,
they were out.
So it was like something out of a movie. He was trapped in between this oil. His feet were
I had
covered in
smashed glass and olive oil all around me on this newly laid wooden floor, and it soaked it up a little bit, didn't it, mate?
But it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
They needed resanding anyway, so. But yeah, I felt terrible.
But on the tiling front, great tiling.
Great tiling, just don't leave olive oil around me.
That's it, mate.
But yeah, it was one of them moments, just like, oh my God, I was done. I was finished. And I spent the next hour scrubbing the floor. But look, it's all good.
No, we picked the rug up and it's fine. I think it's finally...
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That makes me feel better.
the dog is dirty anyway, mate, so...
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
I wouldn't worry about it. You mentioned sleep, right? I want to talk about sleep and where I am a little bit because I've been struggling with my sleep. And
I've
had to put some structure around it. And it's like... there's a few elements in my life recently where I have been using... external things to make me feel better, basically.
That's addiction.
Yeah. One being my mobile phone, another being caffeine.
Yeah.
And I look at myself sometimes and it's like I'm a child, because a normal person, I suppose phones are addictive, even if you're not an addict, right? They are. That's just the way they're set up now, especially social media. But I was finding myself just getting consumed. And like we spoke about golf, being in that place where, and it's when we spoke to John on one of the podcasts recently, when he was talking about his gambling, and we were saying to him, what is it, John? Is it the win or the loss on your gambling? What's the buzz? And he said he was just in that fantasy gambling, in
immersed
that world, right? Yeah. And it was the same with me on Instagram and YouTube and just whatever social media, be it LinkedIn, whatever it is. I was just in a fantasy land.
Yeah.
And it started to, this is where it takes me, it started to affect my sleep, because I was just on it so much. My wife would go to bed at 10 o'clock and I'll be like, I'll be up in a minute, and I'd walk up the stairs at 12 o'clock after literally scrolling for 2 hours.
Like blue screens in your eyes just before bed.
And then I was drinking coffee at silly o'clock. I know you drink a lot of coffee, and I do as well, but I've had to, so what I've done, I've applied the program again around this sort of stuff, because I'm powerless to it. I'm powerless over my phone and powerless over caffeine. And I've had to apply my program over it. And I suppose, I say it's like childish, but I suppose this is me. I mean, I'm always going to be an addict. This isn't going to be the last time I'm going to have to put structure around something. So I turn my phone off now at 6 o'clock, put it on airplane mode most nights. I'm just getting used to it.
Yeah.
And I had my last cup of coffee at 2 p.m. But I've had to get in such a mess. I wasn't sleeping. I was waking up. I was in that, I don't know, hopefully someone can relate to it. I was in that, my eyes were shut and I was asleep, but I wasn't in that deep sleep.
Yeah, you weren't switched off.
No, my mind was racing. It felt my mind was racing all night.
So what does that do to you the day after? How many hours sleep do you think you were getting? Or you were asleep, but you weren't?
I reckon my eyes were shut for 7 or 8 hours, but honestly, I felt like I'd done the all-nighter.
So how did you feel the next day?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And then it comes out like it used to do before. I'm moody with the kids. I'm short-tempered with the wife. I might not come into work on time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not as productive in the office. And it's just, it starts affecting all parts of my life again. So it's like, again, I'm just back in, it's not as harmful as drinking and using all weekend, but it's still feeding that fucking void inside of my gut. Do you know what I mean? That's where it lies.
And this is it, right? So how nice that you've acknowledged it.
Yep.
You've come up with a solution.
Yep.
You're applying it.
Yep.
It's going to take time. Like you said, you're still getting used to it. And you can see what the results are going to be. And you're going to get some results out of it. Like, it's going to be better than it is.
I'll tell you what.
But it's a grown-up, mature way of looking at it.
It totally is. But it's, how powerful is this, right? The first couple of nights, or even now, if I'm being totally honest, right? I turn my phone off at 6 o'clock at night and I'm looking for it.
Oh, really?
I'm looking for it, like a drink, like a drink. When I was,
I know there's a bottle in the fridge.
Yeah. I'm looking, like, or thinking in my head, has someone messaged me, or have I got a notification on Instagram? It's insane.
You can deal with it in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going anywhere.
I know I can.
I mean, it didn't work out too well that night when I come up to record a podcast and you text me saying that you couldn't record it.
No, apologies about that. Yeah.
But look, we're still getting used to it. Now I know. You know what I mean?
But the message to the listener is 5 years clean and sober off cocaine and alcohol. But I'm still, this disease is coming at me in other ways. It's constantly coming at me.
And I think it always will.
Yeah.
So everyone in the rooms, like the old timers that I spoke to and in all the literature, it doesn't go away.
No.
It can be arrested.
Yeah.
And then life is manageable again.
Totally.
And then other things will pop up.
Yeah.
What's something that's going on for me? To be honest, it's something that I've curbed. So obsession around body image.
Yep.
Obsession around body image. Counting calories. Working out ridiculously hard. And not even that. If I miss a gym session, beating myself up about it.
That's it, yeah.
If I eat something I'm not supposed to eat, beating myself up about it. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? It's okay. I haven't got a bodybuilding competition that I've got to be on stage for in 6 weeks.
Goal? I always say this.
The end goal is improve mental health from working out, improve fitness,
and feel good about yourself,
feel good about myself, longevity, for, like long-term health benefits.
But you ain't gonna be on stage, are you?
I'm not going to be on stage. Like, I'm not getting.
We'd love to see it, though. To be fair,
I'm not wearing one of them gold thongs, oiled up with the spray tan. Yeah. That's not what I'm going for.
That's a bit lively, that, isn't it?
Know what I mean? I've got a holiday coming up.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be in better shape than I was this time last year.
Geezer, I'm the same. I can have, my head switches on me so quick. I can go to the gym for a week consistently and think I'm ripped, right?
Yeah.
And then I can eat badly for 2 days
and think you're fat
and feel huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I was talking to my mate today at golf, and as soon as I see him, he was like, "Oh, mate, you're looking in good shape." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, sweet." So it's no like, I see myself every day, so you don't see the I haven't seen him for a few weeks. And he's like, "Oh, mate, yeah, you're looking really good." He's like, "What you doing? How you training?" And I was like, "You know what? Well, like I just said, I was getting obsessive over it. Now I'm like, you know what? 4 times a week, I'll go to the gym for 45 minutes to an hour. I'll train an individual body part on each day. I'm not going to kill myself. I've got a hard physical job anyway.
Yeah.
I've got loads of other commitments in my life, whether it be meetings, family, work, providing. Obviously, I've got to play golf. You know what I mean? There's loads going on in my life. It's huge. I've not got time to obsess or dedicate a huge part of my life to any one thing. I need a little bit of balance. And funny enough, I think there's been a shift in my mindset lately.
It's all these things, like the end result is it gets painful. It gets painful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're beating yourself up, like you said, if you're not going to the gym. And what's that about?
Part of it was, I'm like, right, I'm going to have abs by May. And May's just about to finish and I ain't got abs. I'm like, you know what, mate? I'm pushing 40, yeah? 40-year-old men are not really supposed to have abs. You know what I mean?
And who's the abs for?
Exactly. Right? So I'll lose weight.
Yeah.
And my missus is like, you're too skinny.
No.
Really, the only person who I should be aesthetically bothered about how I look is my missus. Totally. And she prefers it when I'm carrying a bit of timber.
And, not to be rude, compared to Gollum, you're in a fucking...
You talking about Gollum Chris?
Yeah.
From back in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a skinny guy.
We'll share those photos when you come around for your birthday because they're shocking, I suppose. I love you to bits, you know that, but...
Yeah.
Like...
I wasn't well.
Wowzers. How much did you weigh then?
11 stone.
And how much are you now?
15 and a half.
Wowzers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we are, right? It's... Yeah, we have to get in these painful positions to see it. The beauty about recovery, right? What caught me out on the phone, the caffeine, the food sometimes, anything that I do excessively is my step 10s.
Yeah.
Because we do a step 10. I don't do as much as I should.
Will we explain what step 10 is to the listeners?
So a step 10, like step 4 and 5 is a full bifter inventory, which is pages and pages of your life story, like your life.
Everything about you.
Yeah, what you've done wrong or your sexual inventory, blah, 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 blah. That's 4 and 5. But step 10 is a daily inventory. So it's just to check yourself on a daily. Sometimes there'll be nothing on there whatsoever. Have I harmed anyone today? Have I beaten myself up today? Have I spoken badly? Like whatever it is.
What have I done to aid my recovery today?
We mix up the questions like, ideally, it's suggested you do it every single day, right?
Yeah, it's a daily spot check inventory.
Daily spot check, that's correct. I don't do it every day, but when I do it, it's normally because of when I'm in pain, and I want to call myself out on screen. And it was there, clear as day. I don't turn on my screen time on my phone because I'm embarrassed.
You're scared.
I'm embarrassed about it.
Yeah,
like it got to that point, and it's like I saw something online. Of course, I did.
Yeah, because you're always on your phone.
Well, scrolling.
Where else are you going to see something?
This is the mad thing about it. But it was, do you know in America where they do those like ice hockey matches where it like zooms in on the screen, and I think they do it.
Yeah, like the Jumbotron.
But sometimes it's like they do lookalikes. So we TV lookalikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, it panned to this family on the lookalike, and the 2 kids were about my little girl's age, like six or 7, and it was all and they had like a Simpsons family up or something, and the 2 parents were on their phones, so they missed that moment. It was so. But what was I doing? I was on my phone.
You was on your phone watching them miss the moment on their phones.
It was so like I don't know. It was such an image, like where we're going in this society.
Yeah.
It was just like the kids were there all laughing and joking, and both parents were on their phones.
Yeah,
missed that little opportunity. It was mad, man.
Yeah, and look, this is why being out and about without your phone in your pocket, with your head up, looking around. Look, mate, it's how we're meant to be.
Yeah,
we haven't evolved into people that stare into a little 4-inch box that's in your hand. It's so unnatural.
Chrissy, I went on holiday for a week recently. My phone stayed. It was in the beach bag or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just free, and I
And
slept
this is
beautifully that week.
So you said after a couple of nights, of not having your phone, you were looking for your phone. Give it 2 or 3 days, 4 days without your phone. You don't look for it anymore.
No.
It becomes a crutch.
Yeah.
But it's not a necessary crutch.
I'll be on to that next thing.
Obviously, but that's us, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose there's a lot of people that don't suffer with addiction as well. With addicts, that behavior is heightened.
Yeah.
Right? And we're always going to be looking for something. The key is finding things that work, trying everything, seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I think the difference with addicts is, right, phones are addictive, but cigarettes are addictive, alcohol is addictive. There's substances which are addictive, but addicts have that void to fill. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So you've got an addict who's got lots of different personality traits, but fundamentally there's a void in their gut that needs filling. And then there's addictive substances as well. And those two things combined, it's horrendous. I've got to tell quickly about my lawn as well.
Oh yeah, that's another addiction.
My lawn's getting pretty out of. So
how's it looking?
I think I've got every tool now in home base.
Yeah, you completed it.
No, look, I love my lawn. There's a whole like fellowship out there of lawn dads.
I know there are lawn bros. Yeah,
yeah. It's
my brother's one of them.
It's a thing I really enjoy. Actually,
my younger brother.
Yeah,
he's recently moved in with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and her daughter. Shout out Jen and Molly, and they got a little garden.
Right.
He has come from a flat.
Yeah.
Right. So he's rented his flat out. He's moved in with his new missus. She's lovely, by the way, and he's on it. She takes videos of him like, look what he's doing.
But
look,
again,
he's out there.
But again, Chrissy, when I'm out there, and my little daughter's normally there,
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
As long as you're not obsessing over it.
Well, I'm definitely obsessing over it.
How's it looking?
It's unbelievable.
Could it be better? Is this what you're thinking?
No, but I've got a big German Shepherd dog, like we know.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He's on it all the time. So I'm out there just constantly like a lunatic. But something happened the other day and it was a bit cringe. I was out in the garden because I'm doing like borders and stuff like that. Loads of plants going on, which I love. Yeah. All that sort of stuff. And my neighbours was out in the garden. So I put my head over the fence and just having a chat about he supports Chelsea.
How's his lawn?
Stuff. And no, his wife came out. And first thing she said to me, she went, "Oh, you're obsessed with your lawn, aren't you?"
Oh, no.
I was like,
she called you out on it.
But I've had the white sheets out there.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
Protective, like it's gone a bit crazy. But yeah, it's one of them where it's a healthy. I think it's healthy. I'm out there with my little daughter. My dog's out there. We're out. It's nice.
Yeah, it's not like get off that grass. Or is it a little bit?
No, there's a.
I've got AstroTurf. Yeah, so I don't have that problem. But mate, look, I'll tell you what. Taking your shoes off and socks off and standing on grass.
Yeah.
Something spiritual about that. When it's all cool on a hot day.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I'm like laying on a plastic carpet, essentially, in my garden. And it looks nice all year round. And I don't have the grief, but it's not like, it's not real. You know, like, have you had a grounding?
Yeah.
Grounding work.
Yeah.
Where you like, you touch the earth.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a disconnect in my garden. It's almost quite sterile.
Yeah. No, my dad's got
zero upkeep, nice, which is nice. You know what I mean? I've got like tight. I've got tight. No, I'll pressure wash it.
Yeah, nice.
Pressure wash it all off. Yeah. But yeah, lawns are nice, mate. Lawns are nice.
I suppose what we're trying to say is, it's all right to have hobbies and get involved with stuff. You just got to keep an eye on it because if it gets, if I'm out there, if you've seen Honey I Shrunk the Kids, where he's got that contraption spinning around the garden with the big,
yeah.
If I get to that with my wife on the other side to get the balance.
Looking for weeds.
Then I think I need to call my sponsor. But
that is funny, mate.
How's recovery? How's meetings and any news there?
Recovery's good. I'm doing 2 a week.
Yeah.
Which is like a nice balance for me. The amount of time I'm in and with everything else going on, it's like Tuesdays, Thursdays. I set aside them evenings for recovery. So I'll tell you my schedule for the week, right? And I've got it good. Monday, like every day, Monday to Fridays work. But then Monday evening, I'm at home with the family.
Yep.
I put my oldest boy to bed.
Yep.
His bedtime's 8 o'clock, 7:30, bath time, story time, bedtime, 8 o'clock. My missus looks after the baby.
Yep.
Gets him to bed. So it's like nice little division of labour between the two. Tuesdays, I do a meeting. It's my home group. I'm on the committee. I'm treasurer at that meeting, so I look after the money.
Yep.
Don't know if people don't know, but NA doesn't take any donations. We're fully self-supporting. So we're funded from within. one person at that meeting takes on the commitment to look after the money, pay the rent for the building, buy the literature, teas and coffees and stuff like that. So I've got that commitment. Important commitment.
Yep.
And it's one that you have to be there every week, which is part of the reason why I took it. Wednesday, take my boy football.
Nice.
After work. That's brilliant. And then I do bedtime again. Thursdays, either a meeting or more recently, we've been recording. Tonight's Thursday night.
Yep.
So if it's not a meeting, it's two addicts having a chat about recovery is technically a meeting.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if we get a guest in, we get different perspectives.
Yeah. No,
and
I get as much out of the podcast recordings than I do meetings.
100%. And it's like we're sharing it with people, right? And then Friday, I'm at home.
Yeah.
Saturday, normally do something with the family. And then Sunday morning, I play golf. 6:30 tee off.
Lovely.
So I'm home by 10:30.
Perfect.
And I have an afternoon with the family and then repeat. And that's the way my schedule's working at the minute. Oh, by the way, after bedtime with Theo, I'll go to the gym 8 to 9.
Nice, mate.
So I go gym late.
That's busy week.
Very busy. I'm up my alarm goes off at 6 and I'll go to the gym at 8 p.m. So it's like, it's a long day, but I'm energized.
Yeah.
I think if I didn't go to the gym, I don't think I would be as energized.
No, definitely not.
It's almost like you have to expend energy to get it back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but days I've just taken on where I am at the moment, recovery-wise. I've just taken on secretary position at a new company in Southend, which is wicked.
Yeah, man, I was happy about that.
Felt like the right thing to do, and it's been great. The people there are great. I love it, and so that's been fantastic. A couple of new sponsees, which is great. Must be doing something right. People are asking me to be their sponsor. It's always a beautiful thing to be asked.
Of course it is. And look, I would like to say to add to that, like you asked me how my recovery is. I'm on the phone all day with addicts.
Yeah.
I've got loads of people I'm taking through the work. Yeah. I'm in dialogue with all of them, and we have good chats. People reach out to me for advice. I reach out to them for advice. We talk all the time on the phone.
Yeah.
For me, you ask me how my recovery's going. I'm connected.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
I'm connected.
Yeah.
I might not be in a meeting every night of the week because I'm not in that. I'm not in A&E anymore.
I had a chat with one of my sponsees, and he was like me. When I came into recovery, like the whole God word just scared me. And I know you're the same sort of thing, even though I went to like a religious primary school, all that sort of stuff. But my whole take on it now has changed. I think there might be a question actually about higher power.
Yeah, I saw that.
Could wait actually till the end, but connection's just key. That's the me connecting with anything, be it the newcomer I meet for the first time and spoken to for the first time, to my sponsor, to you, to step work, to meetings, to sharing, to gratitude. All of that for me is connecting to what I know as my higher power.
100%.
Keep topped
and look,
up.
what does it say? The opposite to addiction is not recovery.
No.
The opposite to addiction is connection.
Correct. Just quickly, I want to say, I wanted to mention, I shared at the Lighthouse last night.
Shout out the Lighthouse.
So the Lighthouse is an unbelievable treatment centre based in Shoebury-Ness near Southend.
That's where I got clean.
Chrissy got clean there. Loads of my friends in recovery have been in there and got clean. I know 2 of them are 2 years clean. You're nearly 4 years, yeah?
3.5, yeah.
3.5. But it's great. Anyway, I shared in there last night.
So that's through H&I?
Through H&I.
So if anyone who don't know, H&I stands for Hospitals and Institutions. I think I can remember the spiel. H&I brings meetings into places where people can't get out, such as prisons, detoxes, rehabs, and mental institutions.
Yep.
It's essentially people who are in recovery take meetings to places where people can benefit from it, but they can't get to a meeting.
Exactly.
So who's taking the meeting?
JD.
Okay, yeah. Shout out JD. He'll be on the pod soon. You'll all get to know JD. Yeah, so JD hosting and you went in there and done the share.
I went in and it's... Yeah, I actually got quite emotional talking about my little boy last night, which popped up again, which is all good.
It's such good service.
Yeah.
I had that commitment. I took a meeting in there for 18 months. First of all, it was on Zoom. And then when it went back after COVID, I jumped in there. And how good is it, mate?
My main message to him was, look, use this time to work on yourself, but when you get out, the real work has to start, unfortunately. Because I think a lot of them, there's a guy in there who'd been in a few rehabs and whatever, your story's your story, but his whole thing was when he gets out of rehab, he sort of goes back to normal life, doesn't go to meetings, doesn't connect, and he winds up in rehab again. And I think rehab's great. It takes you out of society. Some people need it, some people don't. Gives you time to work on yourself, look at yourself outside of normal living. But the real work starts when you get out, Chris.
Of course it does. Yeah. Look, like I just said, rehab for me was intensive care. yeah, after intensive care, I still needed treatment, but I was out in the big wide world.
Yeah.
So what I did was join the fellowship where I could get the tools on a daily basis to live my life.
Yeah.
Treatment's 28 days. You're an addict forever. You need to keep topped up, basically. It was like, I mentioned it last week when we had John in, and it's just, it's a daily thing.
Yep.
It doesn't go away. And treatment was great. I feel like I needed it. I needed that break from reality. That's exactly what I used to tell people when I take meetings in there. I'd be like, you are in a safe little bubble in here. When you come out of here, you're left to your own devices. What are you going to do then? And it was just like I said to John last week, it was like, I'm going to join a fellowship. I'm going to get a sponsor. I'm going to work the steps, and I'm going to do regular meetings because I'm not saying that that's the only way to do it, but it's the only way that's ever worked for me. And it's the only way I've ever heard where it's got a good success rate.
And let's get it right. Like when you, early on, you've got to get proper stuck in.
Yeah.
Like 90 meetings in 90 days, like proper stuck in. Me and Chris only have reduced our meetings, and I suppose we've got our program nailed in the mornings, which is very important. But when I was a newcomer, I was flying around all over the place, going to meetings and
online meetings, face-to-face meetings.
Do you know what I mean? Just hungry to get better, basically.
I recovered like an addict.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Sonny mentioned it. He's addicted to recovery. That's why the podcast is called Addicted to Recovery. You have to almost go to meetings obsessively in the beginning. You know what I mean? It's like immerse yourself in this stuff to give yourself the best chance. It's like throw enough stuff at the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah.
And that's the way I did it. I know that's the way you did it. And when I see the new guys come in, the ones that are putting the effort in, you're the ones that you see in at meetings all the time.
I say it all the time.
They're the ones that make it.
When people share and they're a year clean, 2 year clean, they got their life back together, things are going all right, people starting to trust them, they got their family back in their life, blah, 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 the same story. I say to them, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's the thing that I say when I share back. Because if really the, not results, anyway, history says if you put the work in, these positive things get back in your life. And
look, that's not just
the evidence.
That's not just with recovery.
No.
It's with anything.
Of course it is, yeah.
If you practice, what's the old saying? Practice makes perfect. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It's like with yoga and meditation, it's called a practice. A yoga practice, a meditation practice.
Yeah, nice.
Because you're not going to be good at it straight away.
No.
The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you get out of it.
Yep. Love it, mate. Right. Mental Health Awareness Week.
Mate.
I think this is I wanted to talk about it because this is...
Yeah, it's huge.
We got some real, and I want to say thank you. Like our streams have gone through the roof of late, and it's fantastic. We are top 50 mental health podcast on Spotify, and we're top 100 on Apple. Obviously, Apple's a bigger platform. I think it's just health podcast on Apple, but which has blown us away for one.
Yeah, I can't believe how many people this is reaching in such a short space of time. Really, really grateful to everyone who's tuning in.
But because we are on the mental health chart, we want to talk about Mental Health Awareness Week. And I was looking at some of the stats today.
Scary, ain't they, mate?
Yeah, especially around suicide, like 2023, like a couple of years before, because of COVID, the actual suicide rates went down because people were at home more. But last year, there was, in the UK, this is male and females, there was 5,579 suicides in 2023.
In the UK alone?
That's 15 a day.
That's a lot, isn't it, mate?
It's just, like, it sends a little shiver down my spine because we're not on here to save people, but I think we can start talking about the why. And I think that one of the big things, they're coincidentally, we spoke about exercise at the start. Their theme this year, this charity that I was on, was movement.
Yeah.
How movement helps mental health, exercise helps
Couldn't agree
mental
more.
health. And it's just massive for me.
It's helped me.
Yeah. When I do a lot of running, and when I run, the endorphin release, I get off the run, I just feel $1 million. But the suicide stuff is, we got close mates who've attempted suicide, and to get to that point where there's no, you feel that there's nowhere to turn and no doors are left open.
I know people who have had successful suicide attempts.
Yeah.
Kid I grew up with, he's my brother's best mate. Funny enough, we had a charity golf day for him a few weeks ago. He, mate, jumped on the train tracks one morning. From the outside looking in, he had everything. 2 young kids, beautiful missus, £1 million house, really good job. He wrote a note, "I'm sorry."
Fucking hell.
It was devastating. Devastating, mate.
Sorry, mate.
And like, this is the thing. It's almost like when you count backwards, you're like, oh, maybe that was a red flag. Maybe that was a red flag. Oh, yeah, that was a little bit weird. Just like, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Talk about it. Open up.
That's what I wanted to come on to, the connection side of things and opening up.
Talk about it. Yeah. It's almost like, so I was talking to my brother's missus. My older brother's mate was the one who committed suicide a couple of years ago now. And I was talking to his missus and she was like, that's the only thing you can't come back from. Everything else can be sorted out. Everything else can be sorted out. And you know what? We're living proof of that. Because my life was burnt to the ground. Yeah. And so are thousands of other people that I see coming in and out of recovery, just to use recovery as an example. Yeah. And I've gone from darkness into the light. And I'm not special. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm not special. If I was to have done something that permanent, you would never know.
No, of course.
You know what I mean? I know that there's a way out because I was in a dire situation and I'm not anymore.
And one of the main, I suppose, things that we do to make ourselves feel better, Chrissy, is actually share how we really feel.
Talk.
Yeah. I've broken down so many times in meetings about, because I'm sad internally, and this was at the start, not so much anymore, or someone's wronged me, or I'm jealous of that situation, or I'm shameful about that situation. But I've shared all my stuff. I've emptied all my baggage is out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's got to be the main reason why people do it, is because they don't have a platform or they
haven't got an outlet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can say talk more, but it's easier said than done. I think the other way to look at it is ask people how they are, and it might not be the quiet guy in your office or on your building site. It's because there was an advert on TV. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was like a mental health advert where they're all at a football match, and it was like a real loud guy sitting next to a quiet guy, and then I think it came up at the end that John committed suicide, but it wasn't the quiet guy.
One.
It was the loud guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
And we know all about putting masks on, and false bravado to try and make it think like. Bravado and that outward show of whatever it is usually fear.
Yeah.
It's fear-based. So, exactly, mate. You never know what is going on.
No.
And it's just like, I think there's a responsibility for people in any sort of relationship or friendship, like you said, rather than just being the person saying, "Oh, I need help." It could be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reach out, find out how people are doing.
I always ask my sponsees twice when I see them, "How you doing?"
Yeah, I'm all right.
How you doing? And normally on the second time they say, "Actually, I got this going on."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Default answer, "I'm fine."
And that is just such a common thing out in society. So I think the message is, look, we ain't preaching, but just let's start getting that movement going a little bit, where we're asking people how they're doing and maybe ask them again how they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Like,
could save a life.
Yeah, it could save a life.
And not just that. I've seen the aftermath of this guy killing himself.
Yeah.
He had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old and a missus and a mortgage. Fallout after. It's devastating. His parents, devastated. His friends, devastated. And that's just one person. So they say for every addict, there's 10 people affected. I'm sure it's a similar sort of number for every suicide. So that then turns into 50,000 people affected by suicides last year.
If not more, yeah.
If not more. Huge numbers, scary numbers.
We've done a few things. I've done a bit of little research, and it's like things to watch out for, like mental health warning signs.
What are they?
Emotional outbursts, anger, sadness, frustration. A lot of this relates to me, but cancelling plans is one. Isolating.
So that people can isolate.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
Me too.
That's big in addiction. If I'm not feeling quite right, it's just an immediate cancel.
Yeah.
It's because I don't want you to know how I'm feeling. Sudden increase in party and substance abuse was not for us anymore, but that's a clear sign.
Yeah, for a non-addict.
For someone who's who might be struggling a bit mental health wise, feeling the urge to withdraw or lash out. I mean, when I'm feeling not myself, that's a big one for me. One of my defects is to not physically lash out, but lash out verbally, or just not act how I'd normally act when I'm feeling good, I suppose. Becoming easily overwhelmed by small problems. I still suffer with that quite a lot.
Yeah.
Making mountains out of molehills, I think the saying is. Not caring about your appearance. We see it quite a bit when people come in first into recovery.
Yeah. Normally looking a bit shaggy.
Yeah. Little bit not quite right. And that soon can clear itself up. You'd be surprised how quickly your mental health can improve through exercise, through sharing, through, if you're an addict, coming to meetings and getting honest and open and all those sorts of things.
Yeah. Personal hygiene's key.
Feeling like you stop caring about things that you once were important to you. I think that's good. So if you've got a hobby, like you play tennis regularly, and suddenly I'm not interested.
I don't fancy that anymore.
I'm not interested. Again, it's a warning sign. Feeling exhausted and wanting to spend all day in bed. There's a chap last night at the Lighthouse, actually, and he just said, I think it was something mad. He spent like 4 weeks in bed. Just didn't want to literally open his bedroom door.
Really?
And what a position to be in.
That's isolating. That's sad.
Yeah.
That's really sad. It's like the opposite of what a human being needs. A human being needs to get out, move, socialize.
Clean.
Yeah. Socialize, breathe fresh air, to be locked in. That's a part of the reason why prison is why it is. It's the opposite of what a human being needs.
Yeah.
That's why it's a punishment for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lock them up in a room.
Well, I know what I feel like. If I shower a lot. I shower twice a day normally, but I struggle to be myself and feel right in my own head.
If you're dirty. Oh yeah, me
showered,
too.
Yeah.
Me too. And look, I've got a dirty job. I'm covered in dust when I come home. I'll shower at least twice a day. Normally once in the morning, once when I get home from work, once when I get back from the gym.
Yeah.
And it's just like another one. I don't know if you've ever got in bed or you're feeling a little bit grubby. You can't sleep properly.
No.
If you get in bed clean, you sleep
totally
better.
Know that, yeah.
You sleep better.
Like 5-a-side football, and I've done it a few times.
You're just knackered. You get in bed,
and I feel like I've got a coat.
Yeah,
on me,
like I'm sorry, fresh sheets on a bed when you've just got out of the shower. You're clean. Your bed's clean. That is an unbelievable feeling.
So, Chrissy, obviously, mental health important. How can we keep check on our mental health? Is there some questions that we can ask ourselves to keep ourselves in check, I suppose?
Mate, of course there are. There's loads of things we can ask ourselves. So, when did I last do something for myself?
Yeah. It's massive, that is. But that can be as small as playing golf today, going to the gym, going and get your hair cut, getting your nails done, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just a little treat.
Yeah.
You have to be overindulgent.
No.
Something for yourself, just for yourself.
Yeah.
Bit of self-care.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
New jumper, new dress, new jeans, new trainers. Yeah.
Nice pair of sunglasses.
Because we all know what we're like when we've bought a new Garm and we're walking down the hall. Well, maybe it's just me, but.
Yeah, of course. Mate, it feels good. Of course it does. Look, there's a reason that these things are popular and people get obsessed over them. They feel good. Everything in moderation, right? So yeah, treat yourself. When was the last time you treated yourself? Big one. Am I well rested?
Yep.
Massively. Ties into what you said about the sleep.
Yep.
Huge part of mental health.
Massive.
Are you well rested? Are you sleeping well? When was the last time I washed? We touched on that. Being clean. Clean body, clean mind.
Yep.
Have I been kind to myself? I can find myself, like I was saying previously about stuff with my body image and my eating habits and stuff like that. I wasn't being kind to myself.
Yep.
I was sort of berating myself internally. Like, you need to do better. You need to be, you're not where you said you were going to be. And just like,
yeah, and comparing yourself against other people is one of them.
Exactly. And comparing myself to a version of myself that I thought I was going to be, even though it's not even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, abs by May. That's like unrealistic, ridiculous target that I set myself that has no meaning.
Yeah.
Get over it. What else could we do? Are there any reoccurring faults?
Yeah, that's a good one, I think. Because if you're having the same negative reoccurring thoughts, I think that's a clear sign mental health is not probably where it should be.
Yeah, you should probably talk to someone about it.
Yeah.
I know you're great at reaching out. When something goes on for you or something that's bothering you, you pick up the phone and you talk about it. And it's like, I can help you with that stuff. Even just by you voicing it to me, you've made me aware of it. That helps you.
Definitely.
So that's huge.
A problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah. So there's a thing in we talk about in recovery, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yep.
Right. That really applies to mental health. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Thirsty. When was the last time I ate? When was the last time I drank water? I'm on it with the water consumption.
Yeah.
I'm like 4 liters, 3 to 4 liters a day.
Yep.
And that was all through the winter. So it's like, I'm probably going to have to up that in the summer.
Yep.
Makes me feel great. Makes your skin feel better. Makes your organs function better.
Yep.
It's key.
A big one for me is laughing, smiling.
Yeah.
Things that make you laugh and smile.
It's another part of being a human.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever seen these documentaries where they go to places where you've got these tribes that have like never been contacted before.
Right.
And they'll see the cameras and they'll see something and they're all laughing.
Right.
And the way that they communicate with like, say like Western man comes into their place and they'll try and do funny little things.
Through humor.
And through humor, they connect.
Love it.
It's a basic human function that we need. It's like endorphins and serotonin released through laughter. Huge part of it, mate. Anything else?
Phone use. We've got written down here, haven't we?
Yeah, drop that. Definitely drop it. Like, it's tough. It's almost like one of them complete abstinence things because I need my phone. I need it for work. I need it for the maps. We need it because we've got now a social media presence through this podcast. It's how we connect with our listeners. We need it.
Fucking dangerous though.
Dangerous,
especially Instagram when you're comparing yourself against models who hasn't eaten in 2
weeks.
That's
not real.
No, it's like
that's not real.
But that's the stuff. That's
heavily
the
edited
stuff where you can really, or a geezer's on a private jet with, do you know what I mean, a massive house behind him, all that sort of fantasy stuff. Like, it's terrible for you because again you're comparing and compare is to despair is one of the sayings in our fellowship. Like, it's just not healthy for you. So yeah, phone stuff is just is not good. Social media, too much social media, really. Like, I suppose if you're on your phone all day making telephone calls to people in the fellowship, it's pretty good. But if you're on your phone all day on social media, it's not good for your mental health.
So look, quick rundown. When did I last treat myself? Am I well rested? When was the last time I washed? Have I been kind to myself? What reoccurring thoughts am I having? What can I do to make myself smile? How am I feeling? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Do I need to talk about my feelings? How long have I been on my phone? When was the last time I went outside? If you can ask yourself them questions on a daily basis, weekly basis, I guarantee you're going to catch some early signs.
Little traits.
Yeah, little traits.
I'm not been
and talk about them.
2 days, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, we should probably go outside. Yeah. It's almost like little spot check, bit like a step 10, but it doesn't have to be applied to people who are just addicts.
No, cool.
You know what I mean? I know people can benefit from this stuff. Regular, normal, whatever normal is, people. So, mate, I think we've touched quite a bit on that. You know what I'd really like to get into?
Yep.
We've had some really good questions from our viewers.
We have,
and
indeed.
I'd like to answer some of them.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Shall I read them?
Go for it. I'll tell you what, you read me one and then I'll read you one.
Sweet, okay.
I'll try and answer it to the best of my ability.
Viewers' questions, we kept it anonymous. I'm still trying to pronounce that word.
Anonymous.
After being in recovery for 5 years. Okay. It says, I've relapsed twice now and I'm so frightened it's going to happen again. Any tips?
Don't do it. Do not do it. Like, we spoke to Nick a little while ago. We spoke to John. Relapse is a part of my story.
Yep.
It's unnecessary pain that I just do not wish on anyone. Tips for me, like we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, just immerse yourself in recovery.
I was going to say, if you're relapsing, there's normally, if someone comes back in and they've relapsed, there's normally a reason why they've relapsed.
There's a reservation in your program.
Exactly.
100%.
Well, they've not taken on a suggestion. They've got into a relationship in the first 2 weeks of being clean or whatever it will be. They've not done something that was suggested to them.
Yeah. I heard it said that an addict who is working a program as suggested to the best of their ability has never relapsed. If you relapsed, something's missing. What is it you're not doing? Get back to the basics of fundamentals, meetings, literature, service, working with a sponsor. It's almost like it's just the fundamentals, the basics. Stick to basics, back to basics, one day at a time.
I've seen firsthand that people can get through anything in life clean if they use the program how they should do. I've seen people lose their parents, siblings, terrible situations in their life, and they've come through clean because what they do, they use the program, they share, they speak to their sponsor, they do inventory around it, they do step work around it, and they come through the other side. You've just got to, if you use the program how it should be used, if you immerse yourself, like Chris just said, in the program, you will not relapse.
Yeah.
Full stop.
100%. That's been my experience.
What else we got?
Right, there's a question here. How can I help my husband whilst he's in active addiction? This is a tough one.
I've got first-hand experience around this. So if that was my wife talking about me when I was using, I think the answer to that question would be stop enabling him. And do as my wife did.
Tough love.
Tough love. Yeah, I had to leave the house for a certain period of time, and because for years and years and years, I would just worm my way back in there, and I would just keep repeating the same behaviours, expecting different results, and I'd go around the round of that merry-go-round of
destruction,
insanity, and so I would, unfortunately, a bit of tough love and stop enabling would be my answer to that question.
And look, there's a great program. It's called Al-Anon. It's another fellowship. It's basically for the partners, the families, the husbands, the wives of alcoholics and using addicts. And they've got their own set of literature. They've got their own steps that they work. And it's all about what to do if you've got someone in your life who is an addict. And they've got a program that they work. And it's all about, like you just said, not enabling, being there for them, but not at your own detriment.
Yep.
Because a toxic relationship is no good for anyone. It's no good for the addict. It's no good for the non-addict. It's no good for anyone. So yeah, my suggestion would be maybe try Al-Anon. You can find some literature online. Give it a read.
Nice, man. Right, what we got? How has your relationship with your higher power evolved on your recovery journey? Which is a lovely question. Thanks for that one.
Great question.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving.
Mm.
I feel like from day one, like it's been mentioned on this podcast, we mentioned it when we touched on step 2 and 3. I met the whole concept with resistance.
Yep.
I really did. The only reason I started taking it seriously is because somebody told me that I needed it in order to stay clean. And I was so desperate to stay clean that I would have tried anything. And I'm so glad I did, because spirituality and letting a higher power into my life and just trying to have a conscious contact with something greater than me is fundamental. Look, it's built in all of us. It really is. A child comes at life in a spiritual way. They're amazed by everything. It's almost like society and culture and civilization, as it's called, dilutes the realness of life.
Totally.
So it's like when you can allow that spiritual side of life back in, you start figuring out what's real. Like you was just saying, that private jet and that Instagram post, that's not real life.
No.
Real life is smelling that fresh cut grass and listening to the birds chirp and being out in nature and feeling the sun on your face.
Yeah, Perry said it was when he was on. He said, "Go and experience those things. Go and get the private jets. Go and get the gaff in Manhattan, whatever you want, and then see how you feel." Do you know what I mean? Does that fill the hole in your soul? And in his experience, no, it didn't.
Because he's had a great deal of financial success.
Exactly. Yeah,
and it's like he's also been to ashrams and got into the spiritual side of things. Yeah. And I know what he prefers. I know what I prefer. Don't get me wrong. There's a certain level of, you need money to be able to live.
Yeah.
Because you got to pay your mortgage and you got to put petrol in the car.
Exactly.
But it's not the most important thing in my life. Spirituality and connection with my fellows, my higher power, my family is by far the most important thing in my life.
My answer to that, how's my relationship with your higher power evolved on your recovery journey? I've gone from completely thinking that you're all crazy, stop talking about God, when I came into meetings, to it being one of the most important thing, I'd say, in my recovery. I walk down the street now and I don't feel alone. I feel that my higher power, guys, is just anyone that I meet in recovery. Me going to a meeting is connecting to my higher power, me speaking to my sponsor, me doing a gratitude list, me doing a step 10 inventory, me doing step work, me speaking to my sponsees, me doing this podcast with Chris tonight.
Yeah.
anything that connects me to my fellowship is me connecting to my higher power. And when I tap in, it's like filling up your car with petrol.
That high grade one.
Yeah, exactly.
The more expensive one.
When I go
at
to
the
a
pump.
meeting, I walk out of the meeting, I feel alive and I feel connected to my higher power. So the more work I do in recovery and the more connected I get to my fellowship, the better my relationship even with my higher power.
Definitely.
Obviously, prayer is a big part of that. Well, I didn't really pray in my early years in recovery, but prayer is massive for me today. I pray every single morning. I don't miss a morning. I say a prayer, it's more of a conversation. Look after me, look after my family. Let me do the right thing today. Guide me. Might pray for some people who have wronged me in the past, Chrissy, or some people that I know are struggling with their disease or they're struggling with life in general. And then I ask for opportunities to be kind. I ask for opportunities to be loving or confident. Whatever I'm feeling that day, it just gives me that moment to have a conversation with NA, I suppose. I'm having a conversation with my fellowship. And it's, I love it, mate.
Yeah, mate, great answer. And look, it's just like John said, it's a collaborative effort. God don't set my alarm clock.
No.
I do.
Exactly.
But we walk hand in hand through life. You know what I mean? Sometimes I choose to ignore it. Sometimes I'm walking right side by side with it. And it's just how has it evolved? Some days it's really strong. Some days it's not. It's however much I choose to let it into my life.
I've got to get it right. I ain't some spiritual guru. Some days I'm a moody bastard.
Yeah.
I
don't float above the ground.
No, I am. And some days I ignore everything I say in those prayers. Do you know what I mean? An opportunity to be kind might come up and I ignore it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not. This one made me laugh. I'm fucked, but I don't want to spend half my life in dusty church halls. Is it worth it? I love it though.
It's good. It's a really good, honest question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. What did I say? You're in a dusty church hall for an hour and a half. While you're in there, you're not thinking, oh, I'm in a dusty church hall. You're connected to your fellows. You're getting what you need so that you can go and spend the other 22 and a half hours of the day free. Or you can be consumed by addiction.
Well, the first part of that sentence is I'm fucked, right? Would you rather be fucked, or do you want to spend an hour and a half in a church hall,
getting spiritually topped up,
have a cup of coffee, a few cuddles,
nice chat,
sit down, hear some hope, and walk out glowing, and maybe get your life in 5 years' time, like me, get your wife, get your kids back in your life.
Yeah, or you can stay fucked.
Yeah, I don't think about drinking drugs ever. I might have a fantastic lawn.
Yeah.
No, but I get it, mate. By the sounds of it, you're struggling, and but do you mean I'm a very happy customer. It's and look, you don't have to when you get to a certain amount of clean time. Yeah, you can do 7 meetings a week if you want to, but you don't have to. Once you've got yourself well, and it doesn't take it doesn't take a lot to keep that maintained. I mean, a couple of meetings a week, a nice healthy program in the morning, doing some step work. It's an easy program for complicated people.
Yeah. And I've mentioned this before. You haven't got to do it all at once. So it says there, I feel like this person sort of answered their question. I'm fucked. Is it worth it? If you don't want to be fucked, then it's worth it. And it also says half my life. It's not half your life. For me, it's 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours a week. In the beginning, yeah, it was more. After a while, it's not. So yeah, it's not half your life. And if you're that fucked, yes, it is worth it.
And I would say meetings are one thing, but I go to so many meetings where we go out for a curry afterwards, or we get a coffee afterwards, or I mean, it's not just meetings; it's like friendships that blossom. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the people that I meet in my fellowship, I know more than my mates in the real world.
Yeah,
because I've got that real deep connection with them. But yeah, all the best, mate, and reach out if you need any more help. Right, we've got one more question. And it's about prescription drugs, and a couple of my sponsees are big into prescription drugs, so I can help out on this one. How did you get off? I don't know the how to get off, but I know how dangerous prescription drugs are.
Massively. I struggled with prescription drugs for a long time. I wasn't getting prescribed them. I was buying them off people that were selling them. I had a huge problem with Valium. I used to take loads of codeine, and I would suggest how you get off is just how you get off of everything else. It's like If you need detoxing, you detox. If you don't detox. And meetings, apply the program. Just because it's a prescription drug, you can still get addicted to it just like you can illegal drugs, alcohol, other substances. It's the same thing. It's part of the reason why I love our fellowship. We don't discriminate between substances.
No.
If it's brought you to your knees and you're unmanageable because of it, you need help.
Yeah.
Dangerous stuff, prescription drugs.
Yeah, you won't be frowned upon. There's no judgment in meetings. You can turn up and you might be addicted to anything, but you're welcome with open arms into our fellowship. And it's
funny if someone reached out. I mentioned to you about it. They're a weed smoker, and they reached out to us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hope they're listening.
Yeah.
I was basically saying it was like an older lady, and she smokes weed at the weekends, and she doesn't feel like her problem's bad enough. But she said that it's brought her to her knees. She's in pain because of it. She's isolating around it. And I'm going to reach out to her and just be like, look, it's bad enough is bad enough. I have mentioned it. I thought I was less than because I never did crack and heroin. You know what I mean? And it's not the case. Everyone comes in. It's what John said. He's like, you've got not a lot and loads. I was somewhere in the middle. And I feel like everyone falls into that category. You're somewhere in the middle. If it's bad enough for you, it's bad enough for you. And the solution is exactly like we talk about all the time, exactly what me and you have done. Reach out for help.
Yep.
Apply the program to your life. Put in some effort and get the benefits.
Love it. We'll definitely do another round of them because I think they're great. And
100%. Keep your questions coming, guys. I hope we answered them and give you some clarity on that sort of stuff.
Sweet, mate. I love that.
Brilliant. I think that's us for another episode, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been great chatting to you.
Yep.
And I hope you like these episodes when it's just me and Max, guys. Once again, we're going to start putting these out on YouTube. So it is Addicted to Recovery podcast. Go subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Where can I find us on Instagram, bro?
We're Addicted to Recovery podcast on Instagram as well. We've got some fantastic shares lined up. We've got a chap who's 33 years clean coming on. We've got a chap who used to play international rugby for Australia. Then he was an Oxford grad, and then he was a high flyer in the city. And then we've got a couple of female guests coming on. One in her early 20s who's now 3 years clean. She's doing fantastically well. 4 years clean. She'd kill me for that.
I was going to say, mate.
And then, another female coming on from a completely different walk of life. So, we've got some fantastic episodes coming up for you guys to look forward to.
Listen up.
Yep.
See you soon, guys.
Cheers. Bye.